MLB is absolutely horrified of this. And folks, everyone is speaking out about it as there is a player who is not only absolutely dominated in spring training, but now has forced the front office into a very crucial decision as we approach opening day, but has also, according to a new report, made an interesting tweak in his approach that changes the outlook of his outfield going forward. We're going to break down exactly what this update is and discuss who I'm talking about. But not only that, we do have multiple other updates, including the Jays making some more moves and roster cuts ahead of opening day on Friday, March 27th against the Oakland Athletics. And another interesting update. You want to stay tuned till the very end for surrounding the Jays opening day starter. And of course, a little bit on Team Canada getting eliminated by the States in the WBC. But before we get into it, folks, quick reminder, hit that subscribe button. You guys have been an absolute beast with the support. Now, if you're wondering who I'm talking about, it is Dalton Varsho, who is not only coming off of a great year last year, obviously a little bit tainted from the Game 7. We're going to ignore that for this video. Let's dive into what he's done. Now, a couple things I want to dive into here. You can see here, Dalton Varsho told me this week that he wants to hit for more contact this season, but he also said it's reassuring to know he always has his power to fall back on. And yesterday in spring training, he hit 2 home runs and that the power remains. Yes, remains as strong as ever. Folks, this is, I think this is scary if you're the rest of the MLB. And I know you guys give me a hard time for saying that, but you have a guy now who's entering his contract year with a chance to become a free agent, coming off of the best offensive year of his career that was riddled a little bit due to injury. He is poised for a massive, massive year. And if he can come out, and we're obviously talking about the Kazuma Okamotos of the world, the Jesús Sánchez, what they can do to elevate this team's ceiling. No one's really talking about what Dalton Varsho can do. And you can see here, he won 395 feet yesterday. The contract year is about to go insane. And there is, there's something to be said is real about the contract year success. And you now have Dalton Varsho, a guy who, again, is entering his big contract season. And you can see here, this is the last year of his contract. He's going to go absolutely crazy. Now, he's probably going to want to hit free agency. I know the Jays have had conversations about, with him about extensions and things like that. He said he wants to stay in Toronto. You need to get that done. Like, you probably should extend him prior to the season starting. But he is an absolute beast. Like, there's no other way to put it. This is a guy who last season, let's dive into his stats here, put up an 832 OPS in 271 plate appearances. So a bit under half of what a regular season would be. That's an insane OPS. He had 20 home runs. He had that insane stretch throughout the year where he was hitting home run after home run. And he's still one of the best defensive outfielders in baseball, probably the best still. His arm value, because of a shoulder injury, I think it was a shoulder injury, whatever it was. Correct me down below if I'm wrong. Took a little bit of a hit. He's 29. He's entering his prime. You add him to this lineup, and you kind of, if he has any bit of, like, if he hovers near an 800 OPS, he's one of the best players in baseball, right? And that's not an over exaggeration. One of the best defenders, plus one of the better hitters. If he hovers around 800, at least one of the best center fielders in baseball. And you can see this here for Mitch Bannon, which is crucial. React to spring training results at your own peril. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Hey, it's what I'm doing as well, Mitch. But Dalton Varsho looks exactly like he did when he was healthy last year, which is crucial. And of course, I still haven't watched the Game 7 highlights from last year. People are going to get on him for that. The ground ball and the IKF hit. It is what it is. His year last year was unbelievable, nothing short of spectacular. But he's got the chance to put up a monster walk year, so another monster year, and enter free agency as a top position player on the market. Now I'm hoping that he said hashtag Blue Jays. I'm hoping the Blue Jays don't let him get to that point and that they just extend him, before then. But he's probably going to want to see the contracts that these players are getting these days. He's probably going to want to stick with the process here and get into spring training or get into free agency. Sorry, with with no contract and ultimately hit free agency and get a big contract. But this is going to be a monster year, and you look at kind of what this team can do, what they can accomplish, and we can look at he's projected to start 85% of the games in center field. I made my custom lineups before and all these things. Not going to do it in this video. If George Springer regresses a little bit, you can expect some positive, increase in production from a guy like Addison Barger pretty easily. Adding Jesús Sánchez to left field increases your ceiling. Andres Jimenez at short, a full year there defensively. Kazuma Okamoto, who should be a monster on the offensive side of the ball and solid defensively. I mean, all of a sudden, the team has so much upside, and no one's really talking about Dalton Varsho, who's quietly put together a great spring. He's still tapping into the power, and the reason the spring training results matter are because of his year last year. Like, he made a tweak last year with Dave Popkins. It has continued now to work into spring training. Thomas Hall is saying that he's going to try to work on more contact, which I don't necessarily think he needs to do, but sure, obviously it looks better on his average and for his paycheck. I absolutely love it. And you can see here, even from Thomas Hall, we'll dive into a couple injury updates. But before we get into that, sorry, I misclicked there, the screenshot. It's very exciting. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Do you think the MLB should be scared? Do you think that's an exaggeration? If he puts together another fully healthy year, which is a lot to ask from any player in this day and age, right? He will make as big of an impact as anyone on this team outside of probably Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and maybe like some of the starting pitchers like Dylan Cease. But insane year, coming off of a great year that people don't talk about enough because of what happened in the World Series. It is what it is. Did he have that bad of a World Series? I'll leave that up to you guys. It was pretty bad, right? But regardless of that, not going to bring back any PTSD there. He is prone for greatness. You look at the contract. He's due for a massive one. Get it done, Ross Atkins. Force the Jays into a pretty difficult choice here, but also get this figured out and let him have a fantastic year this upcoming year. Though it might be better to maybe let him fight for that free agency contract in the regular season, which means he's going to be pushed to do even better. Let me know down below your thoughts are on that. A couple other notes as well here. Savage, he's going to be throwing at the Blue Jays complex on Monday. They want to bump him from 35 pitches last time, so it'll be 2 to 3 innings. And Savage could throw once more. It's TBD. So that's a little bit of an update here. A little bit of a weird, I guess it's been a weird spring for Trey. Hopefully he's going to be good to go. Jose Barrios, he's meeting with the Tommy John surgery doctor. I'm going to have an update and probably a video on that. He's probably done for a while, and I don't think he's going to start the season. It seems worse. Hopefully it's not. Knock on wood, Tommy John. God forbid it is. If it is, though, Shane Bieber is going to need to step up, and we do have an update on him. He will continue playing catch over the week and could be close to returning to mound work by next Friday. Fantastic news, ultimately. And next Friday is a week-ish from opening day. I think it might be exactly a week. Regardless, it's very close to opening day. So, yeah, it will be because next Friday will be Friday the 20th. So then they, of course, play on Friday the 27th. So he could be available for, it'll be about a month, Keegan Matheson said, before he comes back. They need him back at some point, though, with the injuries to Jose Barrios, the injury to, obviously Bowden Francis way back, all these different guys, the Trey Savage slow workup, the, Jose Barrios, all the other injuries that they've had to deal with. Hopefully he'll be good. And then Ricky T, status quo in his progress. He's back throwing regularly again. And club hopes it won't take long to build him back up. Maybe we could see him factor into the bullpen, potentially the starting rotation. It's exciting stuff, man. And baseball is inching back. Obviously, news has been a little bit dry, so I'm trying to keep you guys up to date with all the latest regardless. And speaking of, they made some more moves here, reassigning some guys to minor league camp. No one too not familiar. Everyone's pretty familiar here, but no one too crazy. CJ Van Eyck, who I guess is a former top prospect for the Jays. He's gone back down to the minor league camp. Chad Dallas, Ryan Jennings, Aaron Parker, and Cutter Coffee. Cutter Coffee was an interesting name there. I'm excited to see what happens the rest of the way, folks. We're starting to see now with the World Baseball Classic over, Canada getting eliminated. Their big guys didn't step up for Team Canada, Josh Naylor and these guys. But the good news is we can now focus on Major League Baseball, where we have a new announcer in the booth this year, and Joe Siddall going full-time, and he's set to replace retired legend Buck Martinez on Sportsnet Jay's broadcast from Rob Longley of the Toronto Sun. Let it down below. You excited for Joe Siddall? I'm seeing some people on Twitter, talk about how he's boring and things like that. I think it's the best.
The baseball world has a strange habit of whispering before it roars, and right now those whispers are growing louder around one name. Somewhere beneath the Florida sun of spring training, a player has quietly begun shaking the foundations of the roster, and the front office can feel the pressure building like thunder before a storm. As opening day creeps closer, one thing has become impossible to ignore. Someone in the Blue Jays camp is forcing a decision that could reshape the entire outfield. And here on the Blue Jays Report, we're going to unpack exactly why the rest of Major League Baseball might soon have reason to be nervous. Before we dive deeper, make sure you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report, because the road to opening day is heating up faster than a summer afternoon at Rogers Center. Now, the man turning heads is Dalton Varsho, and if spring training were a theater, he'd currently be stealing every scene. After a strong season last year, one that many unfairly remember only for a single painful moment, Varsho has returned with something new in his arsenal. He's aiming for more contact at the plate, a subtle adjustment that could transform his already dangerous bat into something even more frightening. And yet, just when pitchers thought they might get a break, Varsho reminded everyone of the thunder in his swing. 2 towering home runs in spring training prove that the power hasn't vanished. It's merely waiting, like a lion stretching before the hunt. Imagine a player capable of combining consistent contact with the explosive power he already possesses. That's not just improvement, that's evolution. What makes this story even more compelling is timing. Varsho is entering a contract year, and baseball history has shown us that players in this position often perform like men chasing destiny itself. Last season, he produced an astonishing .832 OPS in limited appearances, smashing 20 home runs while remaining one of the finest defensive outfielders in the game. At 29, he's stepping directly into his prime, and the possibility of an 800-plus OPS combined with elite defense makes him one of the most valuable center fielders in the league. But the drama doesn't stop there. Around him, the Blue Jays roster is quietly gaining momentum, with new pieces like Kazuma Okamoto and Jesús Sánchez raising the team's offensive ceiling and young talent stepping forward. Toronto suddenly looks like a club brimming with untapped potential. Yet amid all the excitement, Varsho remains the quiet engine humming beneath the bonnet, ready to roar. So here's the real question. Should the Blue Jays extend him now, or let him march into free agency and watch the bidding war ignite? Whatever the answer, one thing feels certain. The 2026 season might just become Dalton Varsho's grand statement to the baseball world. If you're excited for the season ahead, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report, because when opening day arrives, the whispers we're hearing now may very well become a thunderous headline.